Creativity meets collaboration and ideas turn into action at the Network Incubator, a unique think tank designed for entrepreneurs, creatives, and professionals.
Ayanna McMullen, the founder of the organization, joins us this morning to share more about that organization and how you can tap into this community. Thanks for coming in. We were talking, you were here BC before COVID.
Before COVID.
And it's been that long. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
This is really exciting. We're going to talk about all the things you're doing, but let's talk about how you got to this point.
For sure.
It's an interesting story.
It is an interesting story. So I became a full-time entrepreneur. And when I became that entrepreneur, nobody gives you a playbook on how to be an entrepreneur. And so I found myself extremely isolated because, you know, if you're in an organization, a department or team is built in, I didn't know how to tap into the resources, the information, or just make the meaningful connections. And I found traditional meetings, networking spaces unwelcoming, right? I didn't know how to plug in, and making cold introductions is kind of a hard thing. So I just had this idea that wouldn't it be cool that we could make these meaningful connections, plus have someone help me strategize with my business. And long story short, the Network Incubator was birthed just as an idea of, let's see how this goes, and then it goes very well.
It went.
It went.
Going.
And it continues. And that name, I love the name.
Thank you.
Network Incubator. Where did that come from?
So we network differently at the Network Incubator. In the traditional sense of a business incubator, it provides resources and services for especially startup entrepreneurs. But everyone has a starting point within their business, whether they're seasoned business owners, because you might have a new idea. And so I just kind of meshed these two with the networking and the incubation, because when you're in the incubator, you receive real-time strategies. You walk away with strategies outside of our sessions. So that's kind of my idea for the networking incubator.
You said everyone kind of does this differently, which means you need to let everybody in to get all of those different angles on this, and they put
That's right.
It has to be inclusive or it won't work.
You're absolutely correct. So everyone has a different journey while they're an entrepreneur, and when they come into this space, it's set up in a way that the participants, they dictate the conversation. This is a bottom-up approach. So they tell us what they want to talk about, and we kind of separate into, we do separate into groups based on what they want to talk about, and everyone has a roundtable discussion about the strategies and information that they can feed into someone else, and vice versa, because we're all experts in our own field. You know something I might not know, I know something you don't know. So we're really harnessing the power of social capital here to help grow businesses.
What a fantastic idea.
Thank you.
And it's completely accessible because you have in-person as well as online. So if you can't take the time to come in person,
right.
you can still meet online.
That's right. So we have it every first Thursday at 9 a.m. at Capital One Cafe, which is our premier sponsor. We're so grateful in Carytown. Thank you. Which is we're so grateful for. And then we have it virtually at 12 via Zoom, and that allows us to get participants who are not be able to get there in the morning, but also those who have like a physical disability, like they're not able to travel for that. So that's how we make it accessible as well, and we can reach people outside of Virginia to other states.
If it's online, you can have people from anywhere.
Technology has served us well. It really has served us well. We've reached 26 states in 26 countries.
Wow.
Thankful to because of technology.
So you do one thing that I think is very different, in that it's not just business folks.
That's right.
Creative folks, which I always tell people, you know, when I've been around musicians all my life working at radio, and like they're different from, you know, you don't want your rock star to look like your dentist.
Right.
Or your dentist to look like a rock star. Maybe.
No,
It depends, though. It depends.
So, but they're on a whole different plane than everybody else, and having them in has got to make a huge difference.
Yeah, so we say we service entrepreneurs, creatives, and professionals with our 3C value model: connection, creation, and collaboration. Because creatives are often overlooked when we're talking about business. You know, a vocal performer, a performer on stage, someone in production. These are business owners, but they're not necessarily always. Well, a lot of times they're not included in the conversation. Right. It is. You're right. It's called show business. So we're very intentional about including creatives. We've had poets come into the room, singers, dancers come into the room, because they have challenges and ideas as well. So we want to make sure that they know this is open to them as well.
What's coming up?
So we are getting ready to launch our accelerator again. We had it in 2023, so we're launching it again in 2025. It's for social entrepreneurs, which makes it a little bit different. And social entrepreneurs are those who have a social mission embedded into their business. You don't necessarily have to be a nonprofit to be a social entrepreneur, but you're there to service the community. And so we're launching that in July with a focus on harnessing the power of AI to help business owners scale quickly. So we'll have one in July, and then we'll have another one in fall. And those dates will be put out shortly. So follow the Network Incubator.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't wait 6 years to come back.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you.
Come on back and tell us, because this is exciting.
This is
Thank
really
you so
exciting.
much. Thank you
for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, for more information, you can visit thenetworkincubator.com. Check out our website later this afternoon for a direct link. Virginia This Morning returns after the break.